Video games. That's what we're here to talk about.
We're there. We're
there's
actually
like
there
one
now.
really big one in particular that I think we should spend the next half hour talking about. Sorry, Jason. Matt,
I'm looking up Mario Lopez.
Yeah. Couldn't wait. Mario Lopez is a roller coaster tycoon.
Yeah. Matt, what are you playing?
What are we all playing? Fire Emblem, basically.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
So
it's I love it. So good.
Okay, no spoilers at all. I have not played this.
Tell us more about why you love Fire Emblem Three Houses.
So I started, actually, my first Fire Emblem game ever was Awakening.
Okay.
On the DS. And it just, I loved it. I got into it so much. I played it through. And then I played basically everything after that. So when I heard it was coming to the Switch, obviously it was like, I had to get that pretty much first day. Mm-hmm. And I think it's just, it's definitely the best looking Fire Emblem ever. And on the Switch is great because you can take it with you. DS was good as well, but I think the combination of having the graphics and the gameplay all in the same thing is excellent. Mm-hmm. I love the characters in this are really good. I love the fact that there are, multiple playthroughs you can do. There's different houses. You can get, different things happening. It is different than, I think, any other Fire Emblem game, though, which is good and bad in certain ways. I'm sure we'll get into that mm-hmm. as we continue to talk about it. But overall, I'm having a blast with it. I think it's a great game.
Yeah, I've pretty much since I got it a couple of weeks ago, it's the only thing I've been playing. I finished the Black Eagles campaign and then immediately started a Blue Lions campaign on stream. Wow. I've been playing as the Golden Deer, and then I also started a New Game Plus. So we got a lot of Fire Emblem.
You get your money's worth out of it.
Oh man, this is like a billion-hour game. Mm-hmm. There is so much stuff in it, and I love.
It's insane how long this game is, yes. Or how long you can let it be.
Mm-hmm. And there's some really big reasons to play the game over again. Yeah. Like pretty much one of the big differences between. Hold on. Not a technical difficulty, did I? Okay. All right, sorry about that. Mm-hmm. One of the big differences between this Fire Emblem game and the other ones is that, like, you're here as a teacher and you're teaching students how to fight, and unlike other Fire Emblem games where you are like adding people to your roster as you go, your class that you pick at the beginning is pretty much your crew for the whole game, and you can recruit and you can pull people from other classes, but you pretty much meet everyone you're going to have the opportunity to fight with from the beginning.
Yeah.
And that leads to some different opportunities. I think in particular, the opportunity to learn these characters more, on top of just like all the stuff that happens outside of the missions where you have this entire open world and you're talking to these people and you are finding their lost items and you're inviting them out to tea, having lunch with them. And the support dialogues, like every single character has like multiple cutscenes with every other character in the game. And just watching those is like dozens of hours and hundreds of segments, all fully voice acted.
And they're all good.
Yeah, they're all good.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I found with, even in Awakening, there were lots of them, but they weren't all quality. Mm-hmm. But I find that basically everything I've seen is like good. It's great, captivating, it's entertaining. So
yeah. And you really get to know these characters on a much more personal level than in any other Fire Emblem game. It's not just about, Bernadette's like a really amazing archer. It's also, she suffers from serious anxiety and she has these very, like, these relationships with these other characters in the game that happened before the game started. And you watch these characters grow as a human being and not just as fighters. And it's really fascinating how like deep the connection becomes with you and the characters in the game. And I feel
you can also replay them at any time, and you can go into their character sheets and you can read basically everything you need to know about any character at any time.
Yep.
It's fantastic.
And you can reclass them pretty much as any class you want. Everyone can do everything.
And that's the other cool part about reclassing is that the way they do it is so cool. Like because you're a teacher, they come to you and they give you their reason as to why they think that they should be this class. And then you have the option as their teacher to go, no, you should probably stay where you're at. Or like, no, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. Maybe we'll try you with this,
Cool.
Yeah, it recontextualizes so much of the Fire Emblem formula in ways that work really well, and it ties in with this school formula really well, and you get to know these characters in a much deeper way. I think in particular, like at first, I was like, oh, I'm not really like into these characters, but now that I've played all the classes and start to see, the depth that each character has, it's really like gripped me. And there's certain characters that I absolutely love, and there's a couple of characters that I really hate as well. Oh man, Matt, who did you play as? Like
the blue
Lions.
Okay, the Blue Lions. Okay,
Cripes.
yeah.
Got a blank.
Okay, I don't inherently hate anybody in that crew. There's at least one person on the Black Eagles that I just despise.
I feel like the Blue Lions is the middle ground of the game.
Yeah.
Like, there's bigger characters, I think, on the other two squads. I think the Blue Lions kind of fly down the center. Yeah, Blue Lions represent. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
the yellow less than 3 Ash. Oh, okay, he loves Ash. Okay.
Ash. Yeah.
Ash, oh man, Ash is like my son.
Yeah. Ash is my boy.
Man, he's such a cute kid.
Yeah. So the spoilers, I have him as a what do I have him as
hold on, wait, I have a button for this. All right, there we go.
I don't even think it's a spoiler.
Okay.
It's just the class that I have him as, which is basically like he's a sniper with a bow.
Okay.
So it seems to be working out pretty well.
Yeah, me too.
That.
Yeah.
Do you actually have him as that?
I do, honestly.
It's a twin thing, I think. I don't know.
Nice, John. What do you? We haven't heard from you. What do you think of Fire Emblem Three Houses?
Addictive as heck. I usually like my sleep pattern, but it's been affected. Yeah. So, but I'm really enjoying it. But I have another game. Obviously, we'll talk about. But this is it's definitely taking up a lot of time.
Yep, I hear you.
Mm-hmm.
And just
And it's always just one more thing. Okay, I'll just run around for a bit and return a couple more items or whatever. And it's like, okay, then it's 9:30 and then 10:30 and 11:30 and morning time.
How many more times can I have tea with somebody?
Oh
It's
man,
like,
I had tea. Oh man, there were times like it's such a big deal in the game of like making that really close connection with certain people, and you're having those conversations. And it's funny, like the conversation system is so simplistic, but it works. Like because you don't actually hear your character talk. It's you have 3 questions, and they give you like 3 multiple choice like topics to talk about, and you have to pick the right topic that they are interested in talking with you about. And when you blow
learn
it
about through your side conversations and just in dealing and talking with them and stuff.
Yeah, and it's crazy because the game gives you like if you listen really deeply to like what they say and the support conversations, like that this particular character really likes sweets, so you're gonna pick the option about snacks. And when the conversation goes like all the way, then you get this really weird and kind of creepy Easter egg.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's weird, dude.
So weird. Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, oh yeah, I hit it off with like this person that I want to get to know like really, really well. And it's like, oh yeah, I did the thing, and now I'm gonna give you a gift. The owl feather always works really well. I don't have to think too much about it.
Yeah. Or any flower, really.
Yeah, flowers are good as well. Jason's just like, what the hell are you guys talking about?
I'm actually impressed we haven't managed to spoil anything for him yet. So that's good.
I know you haven't. I'm trying to actually pull up what I know because I still play Fire Emblem Heroes, and there's characters they dropped from that game into this one. So they dropped someone named Petra.
Oh, I love Petra so much.
Oh, yeah.
Someone named Hubert. Hubbard? Hubert?
I may have alluded to that character already. Okay.
He looks like a butler. Oh, so you hate him, is what you're saying.
I may have alluded to this character. Okay, continue.
He's black, apparently. And then Mercedes?
Mercedes.
Oh, Mercedes. Mercy.
I hate how they pronounce her name.
Mercedes?
Mercedes.
Yeah, Mercedes.
It's not Mercedes. It's clearly spelled
No,
Mercedes.
it's clearly Mercedes,
it is Mercedes.
but they just say it
It's
wrong.
pronounced. Oh, I hate the pronunciations.
Mercedes.
Like Sylvain and
I know.
Oh man,
The last one, well, not the last one, but the other one is Hilda.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hilda.
Oh, Hilda's so good.
And then I got a special event pull for the Black Knight. I think it's from that game.
The Death.
Is that right?
That's a
Death
boss.
Knight.
Yeah. Maybe he looks like a demon.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Don't mess with him.
The guy in the middle of the stage.
Oh man! Spoilers.
And what is the last one? I don't know if this is somebody. Is it Sigrun? Is she someone?
No.
Then I just pulled her randomly. No, that's it. That's all I got.
Okay.
Nice.
But I know those people.
Okay. Yeah. I will say on the battlefield, some things have changed. The biggest one is that the game doesn't have the weapon triangle in it, which feels weird to me because Fire Emblem, I've played Fire Emblem games that don't have the weapon triangle, but that whole system of like swords beat axes, axes beat lances, lances beat swords is such a fundamental part of the combat in most of them, and for it to not be here is kind of weird. And I understand why they did it within the context of this game. Just the idea that there's different houses, and the houses are uneven, like unevenly distributed. One of them leans heavily towards just like hand-to-hand weapons and doesn't really have mages or archers. One has more archers and one has more magic. And so you can spec people however you want. So you can't really design a level around this person has to send their axe guys here and their sword guys here. Like, it's just not going to work. So that part kind of makes me sad. They incentivize you to use different weapons in different ways.
Yeah.
Like if person X is using an axe a lot, they might unlock the ability to have an advantage against lances. And so it kind of comes back around that way. But yeah, it doesn't have quite the same strategic depth. And Randy says, it's weird to me because there's usually no reason to pick axes versus lances versus swords. Yeah. So that part's not really existent in this game.
Interesting. Yeah, it's been a pretty core mechanic of a lot of those games.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of my biggest problems, I think, with it is that I think that choice alone makes the game easier somewhat.
I think, and this is another knock I have, like as much as I love this game, I think the normal difficulty is too easy.
Yeah.
I plowed through that campaign on normal. Wasn't concerned at all about anyone dying. And I think this one's one of the most lenient in terms of forgiving deaths, even with permadeath on, because you do get a rewind feature where you can rewind all the way to the beginning, or you can rewind one or two moves back. And you only get, I think, three rewinds to start, but you can unlock more.
Like 3 rewinds per battle, or like
3
overall?
rewinds per mission. Per battle.
Oh, that's a lot.
It is a lot, and you can actually unlock more.
Yeah, and the whole thing with the permadeath part, that was such a big part in the older games, especially now that you get to know these characters so well, and the characters are so well developed, you actually really become attached to them. But I also find with this game that it, like you kind of said earlier, it's like you just almost have a really hard time dying.
Oh yeah.
Like even the soft, like squishy guys, your mages and your archers and stuff can withstand so much damage. You know what I mean? Like it seems almost, I don't know, a little unbalanced at some points. Like
you're
you can
just
literally
a really good teacher.
Well, yeah, I guess, but you can almost just group up your entire squad and just like bowl your way through nearly every map.
The game's too easy for me.
No, it's just the like specifically Awakening and even Birthright to some extent felt more like a chess match, where this kind of feels a little more just like simple, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. Because I can think of at least one level in Birthright where it's what's her name, the girl with the dragon who's very
thinking of Camilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, Camilla.
Where she's just like zapping you with lightning bolts from across the screen. I'm just like, what the hell am I supposed to beat this? This game doesn't have any of that, at least in normal. I'm playing it on hard now, and it's a little better. But Nintendo is patching the game to have a difficulty on top of that called Insane, which I think is where I'll probably net out. at like a
Yeah,
happy
But I think that
medium.
itself says something, right? That Nintendo's like, hold on, guys, we'll put a harder difficulty in there.
Yeah,
They Nintendo'd it too much.
Yeah,
maybe a little bit. But I also wonder, like, if they toned it down that much, I wouldn't be surprised if a large portion of the Fire Emblem player base like struggled to get through those games.
Yeah,
or maybe you know the other way is they wanted to make this as accessible as possible to get people into the franchise.
Yep.
I feel like if somebody started on, you know, Birthright, or well, I guess more specifically the other one, not Birthright, but
Awakening?
Awakening. No, the opposite of Birthright.
Conquest.
Conquest. That was nuts. Like the difficulty on that one, not even like it almost wasn't even fun, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, if somebody had started on that game, like because you could easily just go in and buy that game and not realize that that is like a harder version of the original of Birthright, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you start on that one, maybe you go, okay, I don't think this game is for me.
Maybe this series isn't for me.
I feel like that's even jumping the gun. I feel like if you're looking at this game as one that's more approachable, then maybe Nintendo's catering to like the Smash Brothers audience that sees these characters and wants to play that game.
I think if you were catering to the Smash Bros audience, you'd put like the characters in that were in Smash in this, and they haven't done that at all. That I think it's probably inevitable.
It could happen.
It's probably gonna happen. But the strategies worked. Like this game sold incredibly well. Looking
it's the
at
best-selling Fire Emblem game.
Yeah, best-selling debut of all time. It's going to be the best-selling Fire Emblem game. Period. I think in the U.S. NPDs, its debut was 3 times higher than any other Fire Emblem game, not including digital sales.
Wow,
Jeez.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look this up.
Fire Emblem is now like a top-tier Nintendo franchise.
Yeah.
Like
it's where it belongs.
Yeah.
Wow, nice.
So it sold an estimated 800,000 digital units in July alone.
Yep. And in the US, it sold like physical copies were over. I think that NPD doesn't give numbers. I was on Reset Era, and they were guesstimating it's over 500,000 physically. So like over 1 million copies in like 5-6 days. Crazy.
Wow,
that is pretty crazy.
That is something.
Yeah, considering like Fire Emblem at its lowest point was struggling to sell 500,000 lifetime.
So wait, it sold 800,000 copies digitally in July because it released July 26th.
Yes.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
a couple 100,000 a day.
And it was the second best-selling game of July 2019 behind Madden.
That's it. Only Madden sold more.
Which is,
crazy.
I mean,
it only had 5 days.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Would you say that to the developers of this game, it's maddening?
Oh my god.
More like cold fire.
Oh.
All right, John. Here's a very important question. I'm gonna throw this out for Matt too. Who's your waifu?
Oh, see, Matt, go ahead.
So even though I can't stand the way they pronounce her name, I went with Mercedes.
Oh my god, I was gonna say the same thing.
Okay, wow.
But it was between her or I liked Ingrid.
All right.
I just liked her story. Mm-hmm. And what's her name? Lysithea.
Lysithea. All right.
Lysithea. I had a hard time, but I ended up going with Mercedes. I call her Mercedes. I don't even care what everybody else calls her. It's spelled Mercedes. That's what I'm calling her.
Okay. Having played through the Black Eagles, I ended up going with Shamir. She's a bae. Okay. Oh man. She's like the hipster of Fire Emblem Three Houses, and just almost weirdly detached. Like, I've been there, done that. If I hadn't gone with her, like I originally picked the Black Eagles because I thought they had the most potential waifus on that crew.
Clearly, that's the way you go.
And usually when I play these games, like I always go after whoever is like the highest in stature character. So like when I played as female Robin in Awakening, of course I went for Crom because why would I even bother with these other dudes?
Obviously. You're wasting your time if you're not going for Crom.
But we already know who I went for, so it's all good.
Yeah. So initially I was like, all right, I'm gonna pick the Black Eagles. I'm gonna go for Edelgard, and then I found out like, it's not really working out.
Yeah,
it's not really clicking for me there. There's aspects of her character that like And yeah, see, Jason, you're laughing now, but when you play the game and you start to get to like really know the nuances of these characters, it really starts to stand out.
I've played Fire Emblems, and I've never started the game thinking like, who do I want to bang? So like, I just
waifu.
I'm more so just look at like, oh, this character's developing really well. I have a more of attachment to you, and then I go, like a normal person.
Well, then clearly you're gaming wrong.
Yeah, you're gaming wrong, bro.
Yeah, clearly.
Dorothea. That was on. She was on my list too.
Oh yeah. Dorothea.
Yeah.
Or even Petra, kind of. But anyway,
Petra's
let's move on.
Good. Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah. As female Byleth, it's Claude all day. I think he's like the best character. Period.
I know.
Oh man, just.
I think that was a unanimous thing, like basically from day one for practically everybody.
Hands down, best character design, best character. Like, I don't. It is a crime that he is not. You can't like S rank your relationship with him as a male. Like of any character in that game, be able to. He is the one.
I know.
Yep. Oh, Claude, with your little braid.
What a dream boat.
I'm gonna look him up.
Oh well, good thing we all don't sound weird. All right.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.